Good morning, Sonder family. Are y'all able to see me? I don't know if my settings are correct or not. Could someone drop in that you cannot see? Yes, you can see me. Rebecca says yes. Cheryl says no. Tanya says yes. Karen says no. We got some yeses. Okay, maybe it's still connecting. We're trying to figure out what's going on this morning. Okay, well, I'm here. You can see me. Okay, good deal. So I just need I need to shout out to Angela Boone, who was our first to arrive this morning. Jen and you've got Team Jennifer on the call this morning, and we were running through our setup together. And she said, "Hey, y'all are live." So I don't know if okay. So Aisha says, "I can see you, but I had to minimize my computer screen. So maybe something's going on with settings because we did not mean to start as early as we did, but welcome. You got some bonus music. It's a Monday." I think that must be what's going on. You have found the weekly setup for week 12 of 2024, and I'm so happy to welcome you. I'm coming to you from the Dallas area. My name is Jennifer Ogilvy, and then my cohort this morning is Jennifer Krippner. Team Jennifer is on the call. Okay, Bridget says she's just seeing me, but Aisha said I can see you, but I had to minimize my computer screen. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe if you try that, minimize computer screen, it could be our settings. I'm not really sure. Jen Krippner, should I change our settings perhaps for the host and co-host? What do you think? We'll let her do that. Sorry for being a little scattered today. Let's just do so. I'm going to change our host. We're going to go off camera for just a sec. Jennifer is going to change my permissions here. Let me know when you do that, Jennifer. And you can see me very good. Do you just see me? That could be a little scary there. Okay, hold on. Let me pull up my slide deck again. Thank you, friends. Okay, you can see me. Good deal. I'm going to go over here, get these slides pulled up, and give me one more second. Let me share my screen. Thank you for your patience. We don't know what's going on. I think perhaps. Okay. I am hoping you see the slide deck and a little me and a little frozen picture of Chipper. There we go. Back to normal. Oh man. I think that might have been me. And I told Jen I might have accidentally started the webinar when I logged on this morning and pulled up the slide deck and accidentally hit that button. We're not sure what happened. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Whew, it's going to be one of those Mondays. I love the grace in Sonder family. If anybody understands, it's Sonder family. We break up with perfection. So welcome. Let's get going now. Here are those community guidelines we always like to remind you of about the space that we create when we are together. Is there anybody here for the very first time? Say good morning to me, please, so we can welcome you. If you're a first time set up socialer, we love this community and get so many great ideas from one another about creating ways in this journal to set it up for our own personal lives. And I've got some other new ideas to share with you this morning. First time, Bryn, welcome. Make sure that y'all say good morning to Bryn. Make sure that that chat is set to everyone because we do a lot of sharing. And again, this is that safe space that we create. And so, as we're working through our setup today, if something hits wrong and it doesn't feel right, give yourself the space to work on that in a little while. We will kick off this morning with that momentum mind map. We are in week 3 of that mind map. Bryn, we're going to talk to you about a mind map. It's a deeper dig into our monthly theme, and that's a bonus prompt that we get at our weekly setups. Another way of looking at how our themes work in our lives through different lenses week by week. And this month's been kind of neat because it's been sort of growing, right? We started with some considerations and we are expanding from there. So I'll be sharing that with you. We're going to do that rosebud thorn reflection and do our weekly setup. So I have this graphic because I think it works really well with our mind map this week, with the question we're going to ask, and it's about the idea of rephrasing, our kind of resetting our mindset toward things. And so instead of wondering like, where am I going? The rephrasing is, I'm excited to see where this leads me. Why is this happening? To what is this teaching me? What am I going to get from this? It might not be fun, but what am I going to learn? Or I don't know what to do. And we rephrase that to, I trust the answer is unfolding in front of me. So that mindset of really being good and gentle to yourself, rephrasing it in a positive framework. And that's going to help us, I think, with our answers to week 3 of the mind map. So our mind map, again, it's that deep dig into our monthly theme. We do it at these weekly setups. You will always get a mind map question to work on. And there are our 3 weeks worth of the mind map questions. So week 1, we reflected on a space in our life that maybe we felt stuck in or lacked development. But then we also did the duality exercise of that. We had this place where we're stuck, but also where do we see that we've had this forward momentum and kind of maybe something that we're proud of. Week 2, now let's take a look. And what I did is I looked at that place where I was stuck and used it to answer the other questions. Are there obstacles that have stood in your way for that forward momentum, that movement forward? And, what are some personal tendencies or external factors that might be affecting that movement forward? And this week we are looking at this part. Instead of focusing on feeling stuck, we're kind of going to look for a solution now. Can you find a way to view these areas as opportunities for growth? What's one small step toward embracing that? Okay, just one small step. So last week we kind of identified that thing, that factor that was in our way. And this week, now we're going to take a look at a step that we can take toward improving it. So this is my mind map. And again, Bryn is new. Bryn, you might want to just grab a screenshot if you want to dig into this and kind of maybe examine week 1 and week 2, and then, do week 3. And this one, it's kind of a short answer. I shared with you a couple weeks ago, I'm really stuck in just that well-being in all areas of my life, getting enough movement, getting the right nutrition, and getting plenty of rest. And so that's kind of the thing that I've been really focusing on this month. I've put some new steps in place in my journal, which I'll share through our journey this morning. But my answer this morning is, one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to focus on more protein in my diet. And I feel like that is having this trickle effect into other decisions. Like I'm thinking about drinking more water before I eat and eating my veggies first, because they say that's a better way to regulate that blood sugar, eat that. And then I'll eat all the protein and really kind of focus in on that, because that's something that's lacking. My doctor's telling me I need to do that kind of thing. So that's my short answer. This is some ideas that came out of a chat from one of our setups this weekend about what folks are thinking of, when they're thinking about that one small step. And I love the idea of framing it in an opportunity, right? Doing that great mindset. So you might want to read some of these from our Sonder family as we do work on this space this morning. And I'm going to just put on a quick song while you do this, and I'll go back and forth between these slides in case you want to grab any of these questions, grab a screenshot, and you can dive into that. And again, this mind map is a bonus prompt. You won't find it anywhere in your journal. So you are invited, if you haven't already set up your mind map, to do it in a number of spaces. I've put a little list here, a little tip list for Sonder family, that where different people set up their mind map. So let me put on a quick song while you consider that opportunity for growth, and feel free to share in the chat as this comes to mind. And I'll be back to check in on you in just a moment. Thank you for taking a look at those areas in your life, maybe something that is standing in your way. A couple of you had time to share in the chat. That I have really liked the idea of momentum and pairing it with the idea of the area where I'm stuck. Like, what do I need? How do I get unstuck? I've really appreciated that in our theme this month. And you know, Jonna shared her stuck is decluttering more, like she feels perhaps she's maybe clutter shuffling instead of actually tackling the issue, that like that's a place that she is feeling stuck, and just and then yeah, Sarah said adversity, live every moment, right? Just really lean in and get that done. um initiating what is that spark of fire for you? So again, we are and some of them are tricky, like Lorelai shared, a re-injury of something that you think you're better and you're moving forward, and then it pops back up again. And so giving ourselves that grace and that time is also very important to do. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be a certain way. So anyhow, thank you for taking a look at that week 3 about how can we reframe something, right? So that it benefits us as we are journeying through this momentous month. So now let's take a look at last week and your rosebud thorn reflection. And you're going to find this on page 44 of your March journal. And of course, we do this reflection every week. It helps us understand how our week went, what was great, what do we want to bring forward, what do we want to celebrate. It allows us the space to just dump on the page those things that were really tough and tricky, and there's just so much power in naming it and writing it down, right? And then maybe if you're able, you can make that choice to leave it behind. So the rose, of course, is going to be that thing that brought you joy, something you're excited about, new opportunities ahead, things that are positive in your life. The bud is maybe an opportunity or something that you're looking forward to in your future. Um, Something that is inspiring you. Maybe this journal prompt you just worked on could, be your bud. And then the thorn, of course, is a stressful situation, something that's just not fun. Again, I'm saying we're going to put power to our pen to paper and write it down and leave it behind as best we can. I know some of our thorns just hang, they just hang and hang and hang, and they don't go away. They're health related, or they're familial, and they're just tricky, but there is that space and that power to write it down and claim it. So that's why we do that part of our reflection. And mine were great. Last week I spent half of spring break for my little 6-year-old guy, and we took him to our family's camp house, and he just got to be an only child with his grandparents. We had the best time. My bud is, I get to meet some friends. I'm from the Houston, Texas area. I left almost 4 years ago, and like the original gang is getting together. All the people that we raised our kids with, and they're driving a couple of hours, and we're driving down a couple of hours, and we're all going to meet at this restaurant and have steak and visit and catch up. And I'm like over the moon excited with my Houston, Texas gang. And then my thorn, yes, it's a possum, because that is a thorn, because he's living in the crawl space, between one floor and another at the camp house. And we're not sure what to do about it. So, that is definitely, my thorns have been critters lately. We had skunks a few weeks ago. Anyway, nature is my thorn. So, I'm gonna put on a quick song while you guys work on this. Please feel free to share in the chat so that we can celebrate with you, but also journey with you, for those thorns. I'll be back to check in on you in just a minute. I want to thank you for sharing those things in the chat. There are some exciting things that happened, some literal roses that happened for Aisha's anniversary, 108 roses. I can't even imagine how glorious that smelled. That's so fun. The weather, the snow that keeps piling on some of our states. If you don't have to get out in it, it's wonderful, right? But it kind of puts a a a thorn in your life. So thank you for sharing. We celebrate the roses with you, but just we're standing with each other through those thorns. So now let's dig into our weekly planner. And I'm going to be going over pages 46 through 50 this week. I have, here's that list I like to share every week of all the, not exhaustive, but a lot of different things you can do in your journal, in your space. If this is something you want to grab a screenshot of, things to think about, maybe incorporating somewhere in your journal, you're invited to do that. We like to give you lots of ideas for that whole repurposing if something doesn't speak to you in your journal. And yes, the chat is very fast. Kind of depends on how many folks are gathered. So let's start by looking at that weekly spread, that Monday through Sunday, those pages that have the, each day on them. If you are still kind of figuring out what to do in that space, I've sort of grabbed some screenshots of many different journal pages and of how folks set that up. And so again, this is a great time to grab a screenshot of that to see how you do. And actually during Lent, this time of year, I've used mine as kind of my prayer journal. I'm trying to be real intentional, and I do better when I kind of write a letter. So I've been writing in mine. So it's just kind of this, brain dump, if you will. But there's lots of different ways to set those day-to-days up. I know often I see folks in Sonder Club go, I don't know, I don't really know what to do with these pages. So there are some examples of creating these sections or reflections each day. Here are some more. And I can go back and forth between these when we do start digging into our goals and our to-dos if you'd like to see them again. But it's just not, someone has moved their food log to the day, a brain dump, highs and lows, health, work. I'm looking at that one way over on the right, fun, chores, health, work, reflection. So just a way to set those up, those Monday through Sunday spreads, because I know sometimes it's like, what do I do with that? So now we'll go back and we're going to take a look at how we want to feel this week. And again, if you want to see those, drop it in the chat and I'll throw that back into the slides when we go over these spaces so that we can go back to there. So we like to claim a feeling for the week, or sort of that word that's going to frame out our week every week. And I've got a couple of examples here. There's not a right way or a wrong way to do that. You can see someone is claiming something for every single day of the week. They've looked at what's coming up ahead, and they know what they need on Monday, and they know what they need for Tuesday. So they're doing a word for the day. There's a whole bunch of words to inspire you. And I'll give you a little hint. I have used the same word all month in conjunction with that momentum idea of where I feel stuck and my overall taking care of myself. And so consistent. I have put the word consistent every single week this month. And I think I'm just going to keep doing it, right? That's my momentum is to be consistent. So yes, on page 46, we're going to drop that. How do we want to feel? So drop that in the chat. And Bridget, yes, I will go back through that Monday through Sunday spread when we get to that space where we work on our journal. You might have found an affirmation last week that really spoke to you. That could frame out your week for how you want to feel. I'm seeing intentional rejuvenated and radiant. I love that. Calm and centered. And yes, Jonna, and again, Jonna says consistent's a good word. Sometimes I sit here and I just think I have nothing. There's nothing wrong with bringing that forward, right? Take a look at what you need. Michelle's saying she needs to be well rested. She's kind of thinking about where she is. She's tired. She's going to focus on that, and that will help drive the week. Oh, I'm seeing lots of rested. I think our time change last week sort of got us. So we're all dragging a little bit. And so now let's take the feeling we want to have and move forward into the goals that we're going to have this week and the to-dos that we have going on. So again, there's that weekly 3 major goals. You don't have to have 3, you can have 1. This space can be used in the way that best fits your needs. Think about, we're a little over halfway through the month. Go look at the first couple of weeks of this month. Are there things that are left undone? Maybe that gets moved to your goals for the week. Lots of Sonder family members like to do 3 different categories of goals, and then that helps them frame out each one of those goals. So perhaps you do something like a goal for your mind, a goal for your body, a goal for your soul. And I always want to remind you, if you have that word of the year or your vision board, take a look at that. Where are you making progress there? What were your intentions for this month? What are the habit tracker? Is it telling you something by those blank spaces, that big round habit tracker that we filled out? Are there things that are not happening? It's time to reframe that. You can give yourself permission to give it another whirl. So here's some examples of stuff that you guys have shared, of how you can set up these 3 major goal spaces. I will just kind of go forward through the slides, but I'm also going to put on some music and let you work on this space together so you can look. But you can see how some folks are taking that word of the week and then they're incorporating them into their actual goals for the week. It's kind of like setting a little mini intention for the week. The one on the upper left side, instead of having a to-do list, they have created a weekly intention list that pairs up with those goals. If you see how they did that. So I love that connection of really tying them directly into those 3 major goals for the week. And then there's some ways to repurpose. If you don't really want to set goals here, that's okay. Maybe your goals are kind of coming out through your monthly intentions and your habits. And so you can repurpose this space. And I had mentioned leaning into this whole health frame of mind for this month. And I have changed mine into a rhythm and routine sort of check in. And so this space for me right now, I'm using as my daily routine, my good morning routine and my midday check-in. And so this I'm transferring every single week. So not a lot of changes in my journal, staying consistent with that. And that's just my check-in every day to make sure that I'm trying to get these habits down, right? And that accountability piece. You can also just put some amazing quote that speaks to you in that space. And then we've got those to-dos that can be tied directly into those goals, or it's just an out and out to-do list, the things that need to happen. Again, go back and check those previous weeks. What's undone? What do you need to do so that you can feel successful? There's lots of ways to set this space up, as you'll see. I'm sharing lots from Sonder Family. And I wanted to share, I always mention this Eisenhower matrix. It's great for those really long to-dos to help you sort out the things that are most important, because I, for one, always do the things that are quick and easy instead of the harder things. And so when you can see what is important and urgent in your life by using this matrix, it helps you do that. But I want you to look at this example. This Sonder family member has kind of changed up that delete space to donate space. And we were talking about that decluttering. So maybe we write that down and we change up that delete space and be very mindful of creating this opportunity for donating items. And we're going to write it down, put that power behind putting it on paper. and use that delete space as a donate space and then pack it up. So, again, I'm a big fan of the Eisenhower matrix. Perhaps you leave this space blank and then you celebrate all the extra things you do. We call that a ta-da list, or it's a to be list. Are there some things you're working on this week and you want to be a certain way? Lots of Sonder family members create a bingo here, and maybe you need a to don't list. And so you change that up in that way. So let me go back through all of these slides while you work on this space. And I'll come back and check in with you and share in the chat the things that are coming up. How do you use this space? Do you connect things with those goals? Just share what you do because it's so helpful for our Sonder family to see what's working for you, for others. All right, good job setting up these 2 sections, your goals for the week and the to-dos. I'm team ta-da. I always leave this space empty, and then, the extra things that I do that maybe weren't on the list, I put in that box and I celebrate it. I am, pretty much a productivity driven person. And so I like to see those results of things that I did. I guess I feel like I need to justify my time awake. And so I use that space to celebrate the things that I actually did get done. So, team ta-da for me. Now we're going to drop down and we're going to take a look at those habits and activities for the week. And love this quote: we are what we repeatedly do. Those habits. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. I love that idea of thinking we're excellent because of the habits that we have in our life. And so again, this space is so great because we've got that big habit tracker at the front end of the month where we're trying to track all the things that we do mostly on a daily basis. And again, if you see a ton of empty spaces there, I think that's calling to you like, oh, maybe I need to rethink this habit or this thing that I've set up for myself because right now my tracker is telling me it's not the time to work on that. Let me reset. And I have been known on that habit tracker just to go in and write in a new habit for the last half of the month because obviously my timing was off. That those spaces were telling me a story about my life, and it offered me the opportunity to reframe. Remember, we talked about that having how do we reframe what we think about it in a positive manner. So we can take a look now at this weekly habit tracker that will, be adjustable for whatever week, whatever the week is going to bring us. Every week is a little bit different. And so this can always look different. You don't have to fill in every line in this tracker. I love the one on that top left. I kept this one in there most of the month because it is directing this person right back to all the other parts of their journal. So they're doing this check-in like, oh, have I looked at the mood tracker today? Have I checked my habit tracker? Am I filling out my sleep tracker? And so there's that accountability piece of using the rest of the journal by putting that in the weekly habit and activity space. You are welcome to set a certain number of goal oriented, end results. Like I want to do this 7 times. I want to do this 3 times, but you don't have to set a goal either. This can be a straight tracker and it gets marked down when it happens. It's really what works for you. Um, you don't have to track every single day. You can see someone at the top. I'm guessing this person was going on vacation and they're tracking 3 days this week. And so they've eliminated the last because they're like, nope, I'm on vacation. I'm not going to worry about those things. I find it helpful to circle those days when certain things need to happen. I often do that with some medication that I take. I just circle the day that that needs to happen. Here is a bunch of habits and activities for a little inspiration that you can put in this space if you're not sure what to put there. And let me give you a little bit of time to work on that, and I'll be back to check in with you. Let us know, what are you tracking? Do you set goals or do you just track it? How do you use this space to work in your life? Okay, some of you guys have just the loveliest habits and activities. Trixie was talking about leaving little notes for her husband, and that's one of the things that she does, and she's making sure she does it by putting it in that habit tracker. I love that. Thanks for sharing that, Trixie. And remember, if you're starting a new habit, it's always helpful to pair it with something you're already doing. So, if you're brushing your teeth every single morning and you don't miss, and that's not anything, pair something with that toothbrushing, something new with that toothbrushing. Or if you're a bed maker and your bed is always made, pair your new habit. When I make my bed, then I'm going to do this, and you're going to have more success with that new habit. So just that little tip there. Now, we're going to move over to the next page. As facilitator Katie says, it's the side B of the record album, and it's this space that we tend to do a lot of repurposing in. So I'm going to share stuff from every section of this page, and then maybe inspire you. I've got a couple of new things that I found that I thought were great that you guys would like. So let's look at that meal plan space. There are so many ways to set this up. We love the nice little rectangles there, but it might be a great place to do your symptoms, health tracker, a daily debrief, a daily scripture. And some of these things may also be something that you want to put in that Monday through Sunday, those days that are in your journal. So you may want to maybe perhaps there's a section under your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday that becomes your symptom or health tracker. So hopefully these ideas will inspire you for the other spaces in your journal as well. I always love thinking about the little water droplets. There's a lot of ways you can use those droplets for more than just your water. You can color code them so you know what you're drinking. Like every time you grab a cup of coffee, maybe you outline one in brown, and you may find, oh my goodness, I'm drinking 4 cups of coffee, and you keep adding to it. And it's like, that's not good for me. I need to back that up. So you can color code based on what you're drinking, but this is also a great thing if you are wanting to rate something, and maybe you put that something in the meal planner space, and then you rate it on a scale of 1 to 8, maybe how you're feeling today. Maybe if it is a symptom tracker, those water drops can be, on a scale of 1 to 8, how did I feel? And so you can rate using those water droplets. I think it's kind of a neat thing to use those. I tend to not. I forget to do that. Yeah, I like that color coded drink. Perhaps you do journal prompts here, responses. Maybe you put your affirmations, or this is where all your appointments, those time bound items in your life, go on this as an appointment tracker. Maybe it's just a general checklist for the week. There's, the 7 types of rest is something that we encourage you to take a look at from time to time. Are there areas in your life where you need to give yourself rest, either emotionally or socially or sensory wise? And so perhaps you track 7 types of rest here for a week, or there's a quiz that you can take and find out, I'm lacking in this area. And so perhaps you need mental rest, and this space is dedicated to 7 days of mental rest. What are you going to do for your self-care when you're framing it out that way? Feels and meals. Maybe how are you feeling before you eat something, and reflect on that? Or perhaps it becomes somewhat of a symptom tracker. I ate this, and how do I feel? Rhythms and routines. Someone made their morning routine and their afternoon evening routine, and they've got it broken down. I love this. If this is yours, I may have to take this and put it there, but they've got their 1 hour before bed, 30 minutes before bed, really tying it in to that time constraint. That's part of being a smart goal, is when you have it tied into a time. Perhaps it's just a weekly reflection. Now let's scoot over to that mind body health plan. This is the space in my journal that I change up a lot depending on what's going on in my life. There's not a lot of consistency with what I do here, but here are so many great ideas. And look at that one in the middle, Saturday and Sunday. giving myself 2 reset days. I'm not even gonna worry about what I do, and I love the idea of really being, cognitive and mindful of that time of reset. So that's neat. Someone else is using this as their rose of the day, finding that highlight of every single day. Beautiful, beautiful. Plant care, that's kind of becoming big for some of the gardeners out there. Again, more ways to set this up. Maybe you use one of these spaces on this page this week to fill your cup. What are you doing for you? And I like the 7 positive things to try this week. And there's a focus for each day. And so maybe you write that focus down for each day. On Thursday, your focus is delete. So maybe that's your declutter day, or maybe that's your sit with your email and clean that email box up a little bit. I found this is a new one that I'm bringing to you. This is a wellness at work challenge. So maybe if you're in an office space with others, you could grab some of these ideas and bring it into that workspace where you spend so much of your time. So like no takeout day. Well, what does that look like on Thursday if it's a no takeout day? Do you guys all bring salad ingredients and share a meal together? So I thought that was kind of a fun way to frame out one of these sections with that work life that you have. Uh, Again, here's some every single day things you can do. This is the alliteration days. I love that. There's some more if you want to frame out a section here with making those days a little more fun. And this is a week filled with celebrations. Today happens to be a Sloppy Joe Day. So if you are trying to figure out what you're having for dinner, celebrate and embrace Sloppy Joe Day. Tomorrow is actually the first day of spring, and it happens to be backyard day. And so get outside, and any space counts, your balcony, your patio, the park. Get outside. It's good for you. Mr. Rogers' birthday, Won't You Be My Neighbor Day, is on the 3rd. And a fun fact, and I've got this even in my Sonder profile, that Mr. Rogers is the celebrity, dead or alive, that I would love to have dinner with. I just adore him. So I always try to be extra on 320 and be nice to people. Um, March 21st is actually National Countdown Day. And I love that. Get it? 3, 2, 1. And so maybe you embrace that day, the 21st, as a way to start something you've been wanting to start. To count down to something that's coming ahead. I kind of like thinking about that. And it's actually International Color Day, and we have a coloring social that night. So I'm excited about that. The 22nd is Goof Off Day. The 23rd is Puppy Day, as well as Chip and Dip Day. And the 24th is Cocktail Day. So those are some fun ways to set that up. Here is I love that. Julie says 321 is also World Down Syndrome Day. Awesome. Thank you for dropping that in there. We're going to take a look at that shopping list. Again, another list, not exhaustive, but some ideas for repurposing that space. I love the shopping list because of the grid, and that has become my nighttime, my good night routine. Like I said, I'm working on those rhythms and routines. So there's mine right there on that upper left. So I've got my good morning in the weekly 3 major goals and my good night over there in the shopping list. Lots of folks love a good bingo here. So there's some ideas of how folks have done that. Someone has done a momentum bingo, which I think is fun. And again, just some other ways of setting this up, how they're going to use this, maybe an intention, your social check-in. And then finally, what are you loving? And, mine is right there, those longer days. Man, it's hard to recover from losing that hour of sleep, but, oh, do I love the sun being out longer. So, lots of talking, lots of ideas. I'm going to put on a ton of music for you to work on this page And let us know if you use any of these ideas, how you incorporate it, what do you repurpose, what has worked for you, maybe what didn't work for you that you've tried before. And I'll be back to check in with you in just a few minutes. You know, this hour, she does fly. We are wrapping up the end of our time together. Thank you so much for the support that I saw in the chat for one another, for sharing how you make these pages work for you and what has worked for you. I love it. I wanted to shout out Leslie said she's reusing the food tracker for her inner critic and inner angel. And that is directly from the exclusive last week on the Enneagram. And it brought to mind, I wanted to share with you, if you are ever unable to make an exclusive and the timing just isn't right for your schedule, but you're like, I really am interested in that. You can sign up for that, and you will be able to access the recording of the social afterwards so that you can listen to it. The only thing, that chat, which we love, is definitely missing from that. But anytime there's an exclusive that you're unable to make, you want to do it, register and you'll get it. Or if you want that information on the Enneagram, you can contact Silk and Sonder headquarters at hello@silkandsonder.com, and they can help you, purchase that link so that you're able to go back and watch that, just in case you didn't know that that was something that was available. Sometimes you're like, yeah, I saw the comments and I see what people are doing, and I really wish I could have been there. You can always email hello@silkandsonder.com and they will get you set up. There are those QR codes that are so important for you. Yes, and they are on the course's website. Absolutely. If you want to dig around for a little bit, be sure that you fill out our social survey. I thank you for your patience for our weird start today. Again, I think it was my end. I think I accidentally clicked a button. So if you were here really early, you got a lot of extra bonus minutes. There is our playlist for the day, and we are going to have a wonderful week. Thank you for joining Team Jennifer. We feel honored that we were with you today. Make it a good one. Bye, Sonder family.